Okay, Gisela, over to you.
Okay. 다시 들리죠? 산제 주단 중에 중앙아 전조 받아 단내 저선조 다게지 소지배 중앙제 놀라베제 산제 통과시 산제 주다 수제 중앙아 전조 받아 단내 저선조 다게지 소지배 중앙제 놀라베제 산제 통과시 산제 주다 수제 중앙아 전조 받아 단내 저선 다기 지소 지비 전남제 rolapje sanjin 조 관계 투지 인선에 따와 단계 방배제 담배주는 던제비 고담들 마찬가지로 또 베타와 나사제 사제제지 공하고 군도선 비교서다 군이 졸라 찬자로 관계 대전저 정가 방면과 지내고 사대도 주반이지 시대만 조배 산지 만나지 담바들라 찬자 예드 제와 천나 구신이 진이제 트제간 인다한로 편바드나 라신이 지지데 두르제 바가 안다얀다데 토나 남바 군데 나존데 손바 이들 찬초선 벼쳐제 산제 주는 연달가 찬도로 마섬 주는 싫어 바로 제 마제 메간나 크모 소소를 이제 주의 모두 존재의 요라자 대신 그외에서 레드지 지도도 나중에 신주 출라 참자로 전에 저가 라인도 라바탈라 잡더니 신게 담바 연데 긴도 라인 참자로 전에 저가 라인도 라바탈라 잡더니 신게 담바 연데 긴도 라인 참자 산제 쪽으로 전절로 줘봐 긴도 줄라 전절로 숨라다 더 그저 찾아외 봐 탐절라 신도 그저다 더 빠이 나온 것도 추도 대배 참자로 야 okay we where we left off Atisha. So Atisha's life story. So we did through Atisha's life story and where what kind of like lineage he took rebirth and his good quality, his what how kind of knowledgeable he is about the Dharma and how he gained these good qualities, knowing text, gain good quality of scripture knowledge and engaging in proper practice, gain good qualities, the good qualities of experiential knowledge, and he possessed training in ethics and superior vows of individual liberation, superior vows of the vows of individual liberation. That means the monastic precepts that he undertook, and Bodhisattva's vow and vows of Vajrayana. These three Dombasum, three vows, individual liberations, Bodhisattva vows, and the vows of Vajrayana. So if you are like a really good practitioner, you are supposed to possess these three vows, these three different style, different stages of vows. Individual first, that doesn't have to be like a monastic, it doesn't confine to monastic alone. Lay people's also like a discipline, ethical disciplines, like not drinking or not like not engaging in sexual engagement, so on and so forth are there. So the thing is, we are naturally has the ability to become a Buddha. We have innately blessed with such a kind of quality, eventually to be Buddha, to be revealed, unearthed, and discovered by ourselves and dwelling in that state. But before everything else, but before we are capable of doing, accessing, tapping into that Buddha nature, we need to moisturize our mental field. The field of mental continuum needs to be moisturized for these seeds to be blooming. Therefore, the first thing we need is the ethical discipline. That is like that is what here referred as individual liberation. So individual liberation, that means you don't have to worry about all sentient beings. You don't have to worry about gaining all kind of, achieving all kind of mystical powers. That mystical powers is only, you needed them only to serve other sentient beings in a more meaningful way, on a more extensive way, in a more helpful way. So that is the sole purpose for the practice of a Vajrayana. So you don't need them. You actually just know your suffering and try your best to get rid of, go to nirvana, just liberate yourself from samsara and just be in that blissfulness of nirvana forever. That's in order for you to be able to actualize that, in order for you to be able to practice the path, be your mind become like a conducive environment for this liberation, for the state of liberations to be manifested, to be born, to be actualized. You first needed to like create the ambience of the spirituality, starting from the discipline that has been taught in the text. And so that's how you need to first moisturize on now your mental continuum, and then from there other good qualities will grow, and that's how the individual liberation, they call it, that's how it has been labeled. It is being called as individual liberation. You don't have to worry too much about other sentient beings or supernatural power and other things. You just go deep into that root cause of the suffering, that is the misconceptions around the self, and just try and get rid of that, eliminating it through the practice of applying the right view, that is actually the understanding of the selflessness, the empty nature of self and phenomena. So that's why it has been called individual liberation. Then once you want to do more than just liberate yourself from samsara, then there's the teachings of the Mahayana practice or the Bodhisattva's practice, Bodhisattva's way of doing things, and the path of Bodhisattva, that is then you are going beyond just the liberations, just the nirvana. So Buddha dwelling in the status, in the place where there is nirvana, just simply nirvana. All the nirvana alone is become an extreme, or become things to be abandoned, not to be adopted. So it's very interesting when you say liberations being has become Bodhisattva sees the liberation itself, or the just going to nirvana, as an hindrance of their practice. Because if you end up going to the nirvana, if you end up actually going to nirvana, that means you are dwelling in there and there's no coming back for a while. That's why you loses your time. That's why you loses your time to serve the sentient beings. You are spending so much time in there, and that's how you're missing helping sentient beings in the meantime. That's why Bodhisattva sees just nirvana alone, or nirvana, the liberating yourself alone, as a hindrance that impairing your practice, or hindrance to go into the Buddhahood. Because in order for you to go to Buddhahood, you need to cultivate the compassion, loving kindness, Mahayana practice. That's why you need to take the vows of Bodhisattva vow. Bodhisattva vows, there's lots of do's and don'ts of Bodhisattvas, and mainly generate the compassion, loving kindness, meditate on that, just cultivate them, strenuously cultivate them to the point where you see all the sentient beings are equally like your cherished, equally you're like a beloved mother, like your only child. So you are willing to sacrifice even your life to benefit all the sentient, not let alone all the sentient, but even to help, to serve one sentient beings. You are willing to do anything, everything, even if you have to go to a Vajra hell, fiery hell rims, just to protect a single sentient beings, you are willing to do that. So to that point, your compassion, loving kindness, concern for the welfare of other beings needed to be extended, keep extended until you're ready to serve sentient beings to the most dramatic way. So in order for that to cultivate, it doesn't just comes naturally. So we need to train our mind, reasons after reason, because mind needs reasons to feed in, to change their perspective. That's why reasoning, understanding the nature of suffering, understanding the nature of the karma, how you help sentient beings, by helping sentient beings, by sacrificing nothing that you sacrifice for the sentient beings will vanished, without rewarding you later. That's the nature of the law of karma. And then in the nature of the sentient beings, exist in such that they are always looking for happiness, no matter what the negativities they might end up doing for the time being. But deep and down there is an innocent nature of all sentient beings. So looking at them and working for that innocent sentient beings and seeing differentiates between the negativities and the innocent sentient beings, how these innocent sentient beings were being attacked, then themselves for the victims of all this confliction, all this affliction, all these disturbing minds were sneaking into the sentient beings' head and be there to lead them in a wrong way. So that kind of the dictator, the wrong leaders needed to be taken down and replace it by the compassion, so that they have a right leader, compassionate leader that will guide them through guide them with the view of with the guide them with the sense of compassion, loving kindness, and that's how you will generate all kind of all possible extensive, all the existential meritorious virtues deeds, so that virtues deeds are very powerful energy to exit, not only exit you from samsara, but to take you to deliver the nirvana, that is greater nirvana, and that is the nirvana where you dwell in while you, that is the nirvana while like a greater nirvana is because you are performing all kind of activities to serve the sentient beings, all the possible activities you will be engaged in. At the same time, your mind is dwelling undestructibly in that nirvana. So that's how the goal to reach it, the greater nirvana or Buddhahood, is the aim of the Bodhisattva and Vajrayana and Mahayana. Vajrayana is a part of Mahayana. That Vajrayana has been used as the complementary path or auxiliary or the contributing factors to access or to achieve that path in a more swiftly to achieve that, and to access all kind of mystical or energy or chakra, all these mystical things to be able to access it while you are still in the quest to achieve enlightenment. Once you tap into that, like a Vajrayana path, and then you will be you will be able to master all these, supernatural power. Not only just that, that's not the priority. The priority is to access the most subtle mind. From there, you rise into Buddha, and that's actually part of the Mahayana practice. Mahayana, Vajra, Sattva path, the goal is the same. But what is the different is the goal is different from the foundational practice, like seeking liberation or the nirvana alone. So here Mahayana and Tantrayana are actually goal is to go beyond nirvana to attain Buddhahood. So Buddhahood is such that they are capable of serving sentient beings eternally while they are still dwelling in that the state of nirvana. Okay, I'm giving away too much. So that's how these three vows are individual liberation. That's how it has been called individual liberation. Individual liberation, and Atisha, the Bodhisattva was vow and vows of Vajrayana. So Atisha possesses all these vows, and not only just possessing it, but observing it to the point of where you cherish the vows more than your life. So that's making so the Buddhism. It's just you cherish those precepts more precious than the life itself. So to that point, and Atisha, let's say when he walk around, he traveled. Maybe some of the text, when he crossed the river, there is a small bridge you were crossing. He will, if there is any chance that if there is such a case that he transgress the minor part of very minor part of the Mahayana practice, before he crossed the bridge, he will then wouldn't allow that to be stay there for too long. He will immediately do the purifications ceremony, the purification practice right after once he reached on the other side of the bridge. So he wouldn't let these things stay too long, even even his very busy life, he will immediately take time to cleanse them. Once you are being tainted by them for a while, you will just immediately took time to cleanse them. So that's how you need to be quick at. You need to be, because otherwise, if you leave them too long, it will just accumulate. It grows. It doubles sometimes because leaving that too long. So knowing the detrimental the side of leaving them too long, you just immediately do the purification through remorse and seeking the blessings and from the refuge field, that is Buddha, Dharma, Sangha, feeling remorse and determination to not doing it again, like four powers, using the four powers to actually shorten the life of that kind of the faults, and also removing them or from reducing them to the insignificant, and then eventually remove them from your mental continuum. So these things practice are there. So you need to understand them, and how you need to understand how you do them, and then you apply those practice strenuously, diligently. So that's what he has been practicing in the three vows. So that's in general his practice, and he has mastered the scriptural text and the yogi practice, and he practices, that's one unique thing is he practice. Yes, the practice, the stages of the practice, or the procedure, stages of the practice such that you have to start from the foundational practice, like Four Nobles, all these things, and then Mahayana, and then Tantrayana. That's actually the order, the sequence you follow. Of course, Atisha followed those orders, but he, when he manifested he manifested it in a little bit in a reverse way, the other way around. Like he actually first came out as a yogi, yogi, and all practicing all kind of mystical things. All kind of mystical practice, rituals, all these things he did, and then eventually he entered into monastic, and then he just live a very simple monastic life and incorporate all the practice in the monastic life while you are still a yogi inwardly, but to not to upset the order of the monastic and keep it simple. If you were able to keep it simple, keep monastic life at the same time, if you were able to practice yogi, that is the highest practice for yogi. So Atisha also did that, So in general, people in the practitioners who first practice, the presentations of that practice. First, they just practice individual liberation or general practice, and then go Mahayana, and then go Tantra, and then go, practice all kind of crazy wisdom things. So Atisha did it quite reversely. So that's one unique quality. And then he, it's not just him, but he in consultation with many deities and the Tara, especially Tara goddess, and they want him to then suggest him to teach them mainly on that Four Noble Truths and loving kindness. And then if you have those basic teachings, basic understanding, which is big, which is actually the practice that is going to become the path to the great liberation. So which started from basic, but deepening them, accessing the deeper levels of them is become a Mahayana practice. So that alone is capable of bringing, bringing those, a power, supernatural power, that the supernatural power or the mystical, the powers and the chakras, all this, all the Tantrayana teachings of how you use the wind energy and to settle the mind and to manifest the Dhammakaya. All these things will then be naturally falls in place if you first master the preliminary practice. Without preliminary practice, then these things are just not even a Buddhist practice. It's become something like a Hindu practice, or using those little bit of powers to fulfill your needs for the mundane life. So then it's not even become the Dharma. That's why Atisha started teaching mainly on the taking refuge, Lam Rim, and Four Noble Truths and 8 Noble Paths, teachings like those. And one unique thing is that when he greets people, he greets people. He is a unique way to greet people. So he always say, he didn't say how are you. He will say, have you been kind? Have you been kind? So always like, have you been kind? If you've been kind, then you are doing fine. You are well, and you are not unhappy. That's how he greets people. Have you been kind? Have you been kind? So that's a unique way of his practice teaching, and the presentation of teachings is also unique because Lam Rim first started from him, Atisha himself, briefly give these teachings on Lam Rim, and then later on, all the Tibetans tradition followed this practice. And then Tsongkhapa took it further, more like incorporate all the philosophical and tantra and understandings put into that, the Lam Rim, without compromising the Buddha's teaching, or without making up new things, or without without add on new things. Just the pure teachings has been revealed by Tsongkhapa, and then put those things in a simple way. That is, he tried to put them into Lam Rim, because in Buddha's teaching, it's very important to confined to the path, confined to the path that has been taught by Buddha himself. In modern times, we don't need to. We always need to be a creative. We find something new. So it's not that you are try to find something new, because you don't have there is a better way to do things in modern life. You can do something differently, and you create something new. That means we didn't get the ultimate one. That's why we always keep inventing something new. There's something new always coming out. But in Buddhism, in the path practice, the best possible path, or the tools has been already invented, already taught. So you don't want to create something new. And some of those Westerners, or my friend Western, who try to be like a teacher themselves, sometimes they claim to be the trailblazer of the new path, and they create new mantras. So you are not supposed to be doing that. Any mantras, any paths, any teachings that is there must have a root somehow, one way or the other, have to come from that Buddha's path, because we need to go to the place where someone has been there. We don't want to mess up. We don't want to, distracted by some of interesting things that appears to be doing the right path, but that will eventually take you to the wrong destination. So we don't want that. That's why we have to be very careful when in practice in the Dharma, we already have masters like Tsongkhapa and other great masters to establish them for us, fortunately. So we can just take it easy and follow, the teachings. But still, you need to examine yourself, because you never know what kind of the understanding of the emptiness you get, because it's very difficult to understand. It's a lot of logic, reasoning, accumulation of merits, and the blessings are from the teachers, guru, all deities. All these things are, all these things needs to be considered in order to bring about the real transformations through the right paths, through the right practice. Okay. Yeah, that's how we Tsongkhapa wrote this on Atisha, and Atisha's life story is unique. It's very important it's mainly to encourage ourselves to do the same thing, to do the things that to do the things that the former practitioners have done, to do the same things that those who actually went through this path took that path, and we must follow their footsteps. So in order to remind ourselves, following them, encourage ourselves to get inspired, it is very important to remind ourselves the life history of masters like Atisha, and Tsongkhapa himself. So that's the one of the greatness of the teaching, showing the greatness of the teaching author in order to establish that it is of noble origin. So you remember that we have that Tsongkhapa is trying to put together Lam Rims in the style that first shows the greatness of the teaching and then greatness of the order, the actual instruction, and then how to listen and how to listen to that teaching and how to explain the teachings to others, and then how to lead the students with the actual instruction. So that includes learning chapters 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, the 4 chapters. Okay, that's that. And then that brings us to the next, what is it? Refusion, excellent lineage. The greatness of the teaching. Now the greatness of the teacher is done. So if you have any questions, you can ask. I'm not an expert on the history, so I don't have all the dates and times. But the point is we're not trying to be a historian. We are trying to be the practitioner. So it's very important to first, understand their life story and then get inspired. Okay, if you have, let's see what. Okay.
Okay, Sheila, just a comment. I think that I find that the path that Atisha tread, right, which she first do Vajrayana, then he come back to the basic teaching, right, seems to be quite applicable to a lot of us outside Tibetan circles who are actually learning the Dharma. Because myself also, I just started only with first initiation and all those things, doing sadhana and everything. Only after a while, right, it seems that I realized that you need to come to the basic teachings. So I think in some ways it's quite apt to say that Atisha seems to have gone through the same way, realized that it doesn't work for you just to go into Tantra and then, go back to the basic teachings. So that's just a comment.
Yeah, it's very true. But Atisha is a little bit different. Those Tantrayana did work for him because he has been dealing with all these kind of deities, and that means that at that time he already reached that path. He started from the the right orders, from the the preliminary practice, but the presentation is a little bit different. Remember, he is not just he has been practitioner for many lifetimes. So even when he was little, he always had that renunciations already. He was hanging out with all these princes, and then one of these princes happened to be the Tara, always remind him those renunciations, the suffering nature of the samsara. It's essentially, he is mastered already the Four Noble Truths. And he demonstrated this, and then eventually his practice gone to Mahayana. Let's say Mahayana is already the Tantra in the practice, all these mystical things. And then eventually he realized the practice, we should focus more on that and come back to the simple teachings. And you go there, even if you are there, keep it simple. So that's very important. He sees that's exactly Tibetans need during those times, because during those times, since the Vajrayana become very popular, so people do all kind of crazy things because there's a Vajrayana says you can do these things, so you can then easily liberate yourself just by not giving up not practice the renunciation. It's just monastic things. All these misconceptions arises. So therefore, it's like Tantrayana. People, always have an interest in those mystical powers, all these things. And then when you start seeing it's not the real ultimate practice, then you'll see like practice like the compassion, loving kindness, Four Noble Truths, the nature of samsara, understanding of the emptiness. Those are the really that matters most. So like you said, you also, many of us also coming down from there. I also started with the initiation, empowerment when I was little. We don't know what's going on, but still, we in Tibetan community will Tsongkhapa himself receive all this the sadhana and all these things. Started with that. So because Tantra and is available everywhere, and people are very excited and feel very urgent to get those sweet paths. Otherwise, you will be missing those opportunities. But still, you need to build the real paths within you. So those are, interesting. Like you said, it's a very relatable. Atisha's path is in modern times, like, what we do in our, in terms of the order of the practice. Yes, any questions and other questions? So now we start the greatness of the teaching, the greatness of the author. We have done greatness of the author, and then the greatness of the teaching. The greatness of the teaching. Okay. Here, showing the greatness of the teaching in order to engender respect for the instruction. Let me also look at the Tibetan. Yeah. Okay, concerning the teaching. Okay, the showing the greatness of the teaching in order to engender respect for the instruction. A, the greatness of the enabling one to know that all of the teachings are free of contradiction. The greatness of enabling one to understand that all of the scriptures are instruction for practice. C, the greatness of enabling one easily to find the conqueror's intent. D, the greatness of enabling one to refrain automatically from great wrongdoing. Yeah. Okay, here. This temple to be temple. Okay. Jundi dangal chevala shi temba tamji gamit to be chewa sulu tamji dangal to chewa jewe kumba de la tanji chewa ni ju chibarangas to be chewa. Showing the greatness of the teaching in order to engender respect for the instruction. Jundi dangal chevala shi. So these four, the greatness, these four greatness. Chewa, Lam Rim is known for these four greatness, and the other Chewa shi the chi chu ni. Chewa dana chanjura chwa chuku cha zeba chewa dana cheba chewa chewa ni de chu shi da chewa ni de chi chu shi stage pattern as chewa ni de chi chu shi. So chewa ni de chi chu shi, true greatness and the four greatness. Yeah, things in our teachers they always refer to Lam Rim as the true greatness and the full greatness. Chewa ni de chi chu xi, chewa xi de chi chu xi, chewa ni de chi chu xi, chewa ni de chi chu xi. That means chewa ni de chi chu xi. Chanchuran chukule chile xi chukule zeba chewa da ko che chu chu chewa da ba chewa ni de chule xi chewa ni de chi chu xi, true greatness and full greatness. And zeba chewa sorry. Hello? Can you hear me? Is it audible?
Yes, Geshe-la, we can hear you. I can hear you.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay, okay.
No issue, no issue.
Okay. So now, many teachers refer to Lam Rim as a Chewa Ni de Chi Chu Xi. Chewa Ni de Chi Chu Xi. Two greatness or four greatness. Chewa Ni de Chi Chu Xi. Chewa Ni, two greatness and four unique quality or four uniqueness, something like that. But anyway, here it says four greatness, right? Showing the greatness of the teaching in order to engender respect for the instruction. So A, B, C, D. So these are very important. The four greatness of these are very important because the Lam Rim teaching is, once you know the Lam Rim, then it has this ability. Once you know the teaching, once you practice the Lam Rim, then you have that ability to see all the teachings are free of contradiction. Because when you practice the Lam Rim teaching, you will then see the three different capacity, people with three different capacity. The contradictions mostly comes because when you look at, while you are studying, while you're practicing the teachings associated with the people with the myriad capacity, then you will see some of them contradictory with other teachings that are mainly intended for the people with the lower, capacity. So that's how you sometimes see the contradiction in Mahayana and Tantrayana. People with a different capacity. So whenever you see the teachings, let's say people with the lower capacity, there are certain teachings that are relevant to them. But those teachings are somehow needed to be overlooked at some point when you are at the stage where you are the practitioners of the medium capacity, person with the medium capacity. So that doesn't mean that the practice that are mainly intended to the person with the lower capacity are something to be abandoned. No, it's not at all. It's like you need to do something, some of the activities during the kindergarten, and then to the, high school, school and then high school. So there's a stages you practice, but once you reached at the next stage, that doesn't mean that the previous stages is useless. It has been very useful. So in the Dharma practice, you will see all of them as free of a contradiction. That's the unique, features of Lam Rim practice. When you practice Lam Rim, you will see all the teachings as a free of contradiction. Now, the second, the greatness of enabling one to understand that all the scriptures are instruction of practice. The Lam Rim practice, even if you see a small piece of instructions, you will see them as a very relatable. Okay, these are something or whatever, things that is philosophical, peoples will practice. It's not much relevant. Sometimes people have this kind of comments, sometimes this kind of approach, but which is not entirely correct, because any practice that's there, you happen to be seeing, are actually relevant, are actually very much relevant to some of the practice that you do. From Lam Rim practice, you have all these parts, different parts of practice in the Lam Rim, like Shinyi Tinsu Tanjunyega, like Shinyi Tinsu, like a Guru Yoga practice or adhering to the teacher, Guru, and Tanjunyega, the precious human life, and like meditations on death, and meditations on the karmic cause and effect, and practice of the taking refuge, and the practice of the compassion, loving kindness, and the wisdom concentrations. And for all these kinds of, then 6 parameters comes. So all this practice, any practice that appears or practice that's appeared to be unrelated, are easily be related by you if you are practicing the Lam Rim. So that's one of the greatness of the Lam Rim, which enables you to understand that all of the scriptures are instruction for practice, not some practice, not some scriptures are just to, just to, deepen your understanding of some philosophical things, but it's not related to your practice. It's not like that. It's not quite like that. It's actually the opposite. So all the scriptures are actually meant to give you the instruction of practice. So once you practice Lam Rim, you will be able to see that. Now the greatness of the Emily, one easy to find the conquest intent. So then, since you see since you were able to reconcile what is appeared to be contradictory, and since you were able to see any kind of scriptures are mainly intended for the practice, then you were able to find the conqueror, the Buddha's, the real intent, his intent, why he said these things on this particular time, and why he said other particular time a different way. So these things, what his intent was, and the understanding of his intent, Buddha's intent, scripture, conqueror's intent. So you were able to easily find the conqueror's intent. And then finally, the greatness of the enabling one to refrain automatically from great wrongdoing. Automatically from great wrongdoing. Automatically refraining from. You are deterring yourself from engaging into non-virtuous things easily because you know the weight, because your practice, Lam Rim taught you, Lam Rim actually help you to understand experientially the weight of the negativities, the by practice path that allows you to automatically land it on the right paths, and that is actually freeing yourself or refraining yourself from those wrongdoings. It will automatically make you choose the right path, even if nobody's appreciating it. You will like to help other sentient beings because you know the Lam Rim, because it serves good for me as well. You are involved, and my purpose is to help sentient beings. So it is in a way help sentient beings regardless of their reaction, regardless of their reciprocal act, whatever how they react to it. I'm doing my job, and I'm serving the sentient beings. So you are so confident in all these paths. So you are not being you're not being weakened by any kind of these afflictions or negative thinkings or the doubts, all these things, because you are so confident in the practice that negativities wouldn't able to attack you, wouldn't able to tempt you. You are strong enough to take on those things and stick to the path. So that comes naturally if you practice in the Lam Rim. So that is one the greatness of the teachings of the Lam Rim. So there's four, the greatness of the teachings of the Lam Rims is actually summarized in these four, but it doesn't limit it to this four. Okay, so I think the following, so I think furthermore they're explaining these four greatness in this from here. Okay, let's read from here. Concerning the teachings to be explained, the root text of these instructions is the lamp for the path to enlightenment. That's a couple of pages that is written by Atisha himself. That's the root. It's come from there. There are many texts composed by the elder. There are many texts composed by the elder, but the lamp for the path to enlightenment is comprehensive and fundamental. Since it teaches by drawing together the key points of both sutta and mantra vehicle, its subject matter is comprehensive. Since it emphasizes the stage of discipline in the mind, it is easy to put into practice. And since it is adorned with the instruction of true gurus who are skilled in the system of true great stabilizers, it is superior to other systems. So this, Shinda Chenpo the true great blazer, a lineage coming from lineage passing down from the Nagarjuna and Asanga. So there is a great lineage coming from these different teachers during those times. So those lineages are now eventually merged in one. That has become the Lamrim practice. So it's not like separately practicing this lineage and other lineage, but all the lineages were coming together in one. That has become Lamrim practice. That's why it is unique. It is superior. It is superior to other systems that are not complete, or other systems that are somehow sometimes touches on the peripheral part of the practice. But when you look at those teachings as a less importance, then you are actually creating a negative karma as well. But they have a reason to do these particular teachings at that particular time. But you need to be able to incorporate them in the mainstream practice. So there's nothing practice that isn't related to mainstream, but some of them could be appeared to not related because of the stress, because of the emphasis they did on that particular topic. Okay, now showing the greatness of the teaching in order to engender, showing the greatness of the teaching in order to engender respect for the instruction. Yes, it's engender, to create this kind of, to develop such a respect for the instructions, the instruction. A lot of them has to do with our mind faith as well. Even though we claim to have everything based on, everything is ideally needed to be based on the logical understanding, something that has the logical explanation, but still the faith, having the faith, it's make a huge difference. So it is a great push in the transition of the path, in the advancement of your path. That's why the faith, having faith. So faith must be based on reasoning, because of the reason, because of the logic, because of these and that things that has been taught. And I wanted to generate faith, because having that faith, I can get a lot of benefit out of it. So everything based on logic, but still the faith also needed to be generated. Knowing that the greatness of teaching, engendering respect for the instruction, of course. The greatness of the teaching is indicated by 4 qualities. Yeah, it's the 4 qualities. 2 greatness and 4 qualities. Knowing all teachings free. Yeah. Chawani the Chejushi, 2 greatness and 4 qualities. 4 qualities. Chawani the Cheju. Cheju is not. Cheju is like a tribute. What? Attribution. Attribute of the teaching. Yeah. 2 greatness and 4 attributes of 4 unique attributes of the teaching of Lam Rim. Chawani the Chejuji. So here the 4 qualities, it's a 4 qualities it elicits in the student. It elicits in the student. 4 qualities that actually practice in Lam Rim gives you that kind of the impressions of how this is uniquely possess these 4 great qualities, knowing that all of the teachings are free of contradiction, coming to understand that all the scriptures are instruction for peace, easily finding the congruous intent, automatically refraining from great wrongdoings. So that's the 4 qualities that we have explained earlier. But the greatness for enabling one to know all of the teachings are free from contradiction. First one, knowing that all the teachings are free from contradiction. So here it explains further. With regard to the teaching, avalokete vrata, lamp of wisdom, shiradrume chirinsi tuju. These are written by Avaloketa Vrata. Chirinsi tuju in Tibetan, chirinsi tuju. Commentary on the Lamp of Wisdom, Shiradrume, Prajana Pramita Tika says, with regard to the teaching. So you see, Tsongkhapa always quotes from the great masters, those masters who are actually carrying those legacy, the lineage. They're very closer to Buddha himself and his immediate disciples. So the teachings coming from there. Tsongkhapa organize all these things in a very practical way and philosophically without contradiction, and also making sure that these practices are not making up. It's not randomly happen to be like this. It is with the great source, tracing back all the way back to the Buddha himself and his disciples and the other masters, scholars, and yogis who practiced them, and they actually kept the record of them. So that's how you will see it's more like a collections of quotes than actually explanation. But he brilliantly put all together and yet put his the understanding, his realizations. So partly in order to prove that this is the right path that has been practiced for ages, from tracing back all the way to Buddha and masters, from Buddha and the masters, coming after that in India, in other part of the world, Asia, in Tibet. So that's how you need to follow the Buddha's teachings. So it's partly to prove you that point as well. Therefore, there's a quote always, the quote mentioned concerning teachings. So it's lamp for wisdom. Prajana Pradipatika says, Devasharabdume, Chinese tuju, Avaloketa Vratas, Avaloketa, his name is Avaloketa Vrata. Chinese tuju means Avaloketa, Avaloketa his personal deities. That's why he closely followed the Avalokiteshvara himself. So he is being always guided by Avalokiteshvara. That's how he got his name. Concerning teaching, so he wrote composed the book called Lamp for Wisdom. Lamp for Wisdom, Shirabdrume, in Tibetan Shirabdrume, Sanskrit Prajana Pradipa Tika, lamp for wisdom. Tika, prajna means wisdom. Pradipa means, I think it's pradipa means lamp. Tika means commentary or something. So anyway, concerning, it says, the text says, concerning teachings, the scripture of the Bhagavan means Buddha, Bhagavan. The scripture of the Bhagavan accurately teach that which is to be thoroughly known, that which is to be eliminated, that which is to be manifested, and that which is to be cultivated by deities and humans who wish to attain the ambrosial state of non-abiding nirvana. So here, let me check this as well. The teaching, concerning teaching, yeah, it's concerning teaching. It actually defines the teaching. What is teaching? What needs to be taught? What is the real teaching? Funny thing is, here teaching mainly refers to the teaching of the path that's actually correctly, unmistakably taking you to the nirvana, taking you to the place where there's no suffering, taking you through the path that actually frees you from suffering, break through the prison of samsara. That's the teaching. The teaching that actually delivers, that is the real teaching. Others are not actually the teaching. That it implies that others are not really teaching. So teaching means here, the scripture of the Bhagavan, the concerning teaching. It has to be, for the real teaching here, it has to be the scriptures of the Bhagavan. It has to be the scripture or the teachings comes from Bhagavan, the Buddha himself. It has to accurately teach, without actually missing the point. Accurately teach the path, that which is to be thoroughly known. And it's teach that which is to be thoroughly known, which is to be thoroughly known means like something that makes sense, or something that is capable of being cultivated, something that is capable of actualized and experienced, and something that is capable of experienced and works that needs to be, that can be understood, right? And that which is to be eliminated. Noun that which is to be thoroughly understood, thoroughly known, thoroughly something that understandable, something that you can experience, that there's something that you have to attain out of it. That which is to be eliminated. That which is to be eliminated here, it means something that actually get rid of some of those negativities that mind is always infested with, mind is always tended with. So if it doesn't remove any of those negativities, you need to understand, you need to be full aware of what is the negativities, knowing all of these individual negativities like anger, attachment, jealousy, all kind of different negativities, knowing the root of them, knowing the all the other contributing parts or factors, the knowing thoroughly them, and the practice, once you apply this practice, you must see this practice get rid of eliminating, this practice get rid of those negativities from your mental continuum. You must see them, you must feel them, you must experience how it get rid of them. You must see how it contradicts, how it contradicts, how it become the polar opposite to those negativities. Anger, attachment, and like a self grasping, how the certain teachings, certain understandings, certain experience path will contradictory to the negative thoughts that are there. And that's how, by applying these practice that are actually opposing, that are actually attack those negativities head on, by contradicting their concept, and then dwelling on that, and then applying this practice constantly in, and then it has the ability to remove, not only just remove, but eliminating from the root. If that's such path, that has that ability to get rid of those from the root, to eliminate them, to eradicate them, then that is the teaching. Then that should be called as a real teaching. So first, thoroughly understanding and eliminate that which is to be manifested, and also to be manifest. There's something, once you know these things, how it works, and then you actually did it, and it eliminates something, and you reach somewhere to manifest something that paths into you. That's a Satchulama, 10 bhumis. Satchulama. Therefore, this the extensive teachings on the 10 grounds and 5 paths. The Parching, Parodachimba. We have to study that for like between 5 and 7 years on their topics. So each paths and each grounds as to how they transit from one to another, what first ground, what kind of qualities you will attain, what is the sign of attaining them, what applications that you did, what practice, what kind of meditation you spend time on, and then what experiential transformation and transit, or what kind of experientially you see negativities being eliminated, being eradicated from your mental continuum, and how it reduced first in the first one, how it become insignificant, and how it actually get rid of them. And the sign of not relapsing of those negativities are clearly seen. So you reach some paths, the actualization of those paths to be manifested, and that which is to be cultivated by deities and humans who wish to attain the ambrosial state. Ambrosial. It's like a to be cultivated humans and deities who wish to attain the non-abiding nirvana. Ambrosial state means, ambrosial, I guess it's the nectar or elicit some kind of substance that make you, once you take this, you kind of bypass the death or something, or that type of thing. So ambrosial state, that means nirvana or non-abiding nirvana. For non-abiding nirvana means here. So it's ambrosial, that actually means that going to become someone that is eternal, or to reach somewhere there's no such thing as a death. So the eternal, kind of eternal, so to reach a eternal state, or to reach a state where there's no death. So that is we all wanted to go to the nirvana because there's no death, there's no suffering. So in order for that which is to be cultivated by deities and humans, deities or humans, whoever those are in heaven, those are heavenly beings, those are human beings, those are the one who actually practice the path. So those people, those sentient beings, experience them, those the path that has been practiced by them, actualized by them, understood by them, and attain the state of non-abiding nirvana, state where there's no death. So it could be misunderstood because one Buddha himself, like passed away, and all the Arya, those who claim to have reached at the nirvana, also passed away. So how come you reach at the place where there's no death? Because all those practitioners who practice this, the claim to have reached the non-abiding nirvana, an ambrosial state, actually left. So it's not quite. You must understand it's in a little bit different way. It's not quite like that. The death, ending the death means you're reaching nirvana. But in order to end the death, you have to die first. And then because our body, we already have this suffering body. So you don't want to take another body dwelling in nirvana. That is the end of the death. There is no death after death. So this one is the last death. Because this death, that needs to happen because you need to exit from this suffering body. So you're exiting from the suffering body, you dwell in the nirvana, and you're not coming back to the samsara. That is indeed the death. So that is the state of ambrosial or non-abiding nirvana. So non-abiding nirvana is, I don't know why they put it like this, but of a non-abiding nirvana. Non-abiding nirvana need to be understood, with a pinch of salt here, because philosophically it's very debatable when it comes to the non-abiding non-abiding nirvana. When you reach nirvana, you're not there yet at the state of non-abiding nirvana. From some schools, other schools of thought, you are there at a non-abiding nirvana. Once you reach at nirvana, you reach at non-abiding nirvana. So at some school of thought, non-abiding nirvana refers to the Buddhahood, where you reach nirvana, but you don't abiding in that. You are not, like only dwelling in that alone, but you came out of it while you are still abiding in that nirvana. So that's non-abiding nirvana. But some other schools of thought says nirvana itself is non-abiding nirvana because it doesn't clinging onto anything, but you stay there, you dwell in there, but there's no clinging. That's nirvana. So it's non-abiding nirvana. Yeah. Okay, so let's on this non-abiding nirvana, reaching at such kind of ambrosial state. With these very auspicious note, we will end today's session, and I'll take some questions here, and then we will do the dedication. Okay, we have 10 minutes, so we can take some questions, and then we're done.
Okay, Sheila, maybe I was not very. You say that the two greatness and the four qualities, right? The text here shows the four qualities, but what are the two greatness? Because the text you see
two greatnesses that we actually there's a four greatness. The four greatness actually understood as a two greatness. There's the stage of what the explain stage of path to enlightenment has four parts. Four parts, right? The four parts actually is the showing greatness of the teacher and showing greatness the teaching of the author and showing greatness of the teaching in order to understand, respect the concern. These two are actually the two greatness. That the next two, 3 and 4, are the part of first two actually.
Hey, thank you. Thanks for
Yeah.
clarifying.
So yeah, so it actually it's included in there. First two, true greatness and four qualities. Usually Lam is known by that way. True greatness and four qualities. Hmm. In Tibetan, it says true greatness and how you listen to and explain the teaching that has true greatness. I don't see that in English, does it? I don't know. But anyway, in Tibetan, it says how you explain and listen to the true greatness of the author, one of is the author and the teaching itself. So anyway, true greatness and four qualities, four, like yeah, four attribute. Yeah. Hey, other question?
Hey,
Okay,
any
if you
question?
don't have a question, we can just conclude the teaching
Okay, we do the
session.
dedication. Okay, dear Sheila, thank you. We do the conclusion dedication now. Okay,
Okay.
prayers after teaching. This ground is anointed with perfume, strewn with flowers, Mount Meru, the four continents, sun and moon. Visualizing it as a Buddha view, offer it so that all beings may enjoy this pure realm. Idam Guru Ratna Mandaklamniya Tayami. In the stony mountain paradise, you are the source of good and happiness. Powerful Tenzin Gyatso chain raising, may you stay until samsara ends. Praying for teachers' perfect health, praying for teachers' ageless life, praying their works will grow and spread. Bless me never to depart from them. Through this merit, may I soon attain the ideal state of Guru Buddha, so that I may be able to be bringing all beings to this very enlightened state. May the precious Buddhi mind not yet born arise, grow. May that born have no decline but increase forevermore. Just as the blessed Buddhas of the past dedicated, just as the blessed Buddha presently existing is dedicating, just as the blessed Buddha of the future will dedicate, humbly learn, follow, and dedicate likewise. Region where the supreme precious Dharma has not spread, or it has spread but then declined. May I illuminate that treasure of happiness and benefit with a mind deeply moved by great compassion. May anyone who merely sees, hears, remembers, touches, or talks to me be free in that very instant from all suffering, abide in happiness forever. For as long as space endure, and for as long as living beings remain, until then may I too abide to dispel the misery of the world. May I be a protector for those without one, a guide for all travelers on the way. May I be a bridge, a boat, and a ship for all those who wish to cross the waters. O venerable compassionate gurus, we see your blessings that all karmic depths, obscure and suffering of one sentient beings, may that exception ripen upon us right now, making our happiness and virtue to others, and thereby invest all beings in bliss. Okay, Geshe-la, over to you.
Jawa kunda yanda lama da teme chujo pala long chujo sa da lam chujo de do je chen ko ko nyu do sho chan chu sun jo ro mo ji ma je pa da je je wa nya ba me ba ya ko ne ko do pe wa sho kan ra wi ko we shin ga so pe da de wa ma ni chu ni je rin so wa ti ti cha sha be sin de ba do ten jo ji jiten ya pe jagan tamje de me chu ne sa de mo ma ru me ke ko ba ko yu chiri ne me ti chi ten ba re sho jaba ba we chitra chaba do ku do zo ba ten de je de ta ku je je zo da la je ke wa da tam je ra do me chu ne wa san chu okay, thank
Okay,
you.
okay. Thank you,
Bye
Geshe-la.
bye everyone.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.